Good evening, JCC Metro West. Todd Seidemann back for another edition of Sports Center with Todd. Hashtag Let's Go. Brought to you by JCC Metro West Facebook Live and Camp Dini Reback. I am so stoked to be with you guys tonight. Happy Taco Tuesday. Hope everyone enjoyed their day and is ready to talk some sports because I'm going to be bringing some breaking news that happened about 3.5 hours ago. I was on a work conference call and something came up on my phone that made me absolutely freak out and go crazy. My coworkers probably thought something was going on at my apartment, but some crazy sports news that happened, which was awesome because we're not getting too much these days. Obviously, NFL free agency is something that's been tremendous and keeping us, on our feet and excited. But some really cool stuff has happened. I'm going to talk about that with you right now. Obviously, we're going to get into NFL draft. I got my New York Jets jersey on, ready to rock and roll for Thursday night. We have the 11th pick, and I'll tell you what I think. Obviously, the last couple weeks we've been talking about it, but under 48 hours away. So definitely, talk about that for sure. Obviously, The Last Dance, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, 97, 98 Bulls team. Their last ride to the sixth title, second three-peat. It was absolutely phenomenal, exceeded expectations for sure. Just getting the behind-the-scenes access and seeing what they went through, the grind of an 82-game season with 3 different personalities, 3 Hall of Famers, but 3 different personalities. So to see Phil Jackson in there and, sharing his thoughts on how it all went down, it was tremendous, and I'm really looking forward to the next 4 parts. So every Sunday at 9 p.m., they're going to be airing that on ESPN. It's going to be uncensored, so if you have kids that want to watch, you may want to tune to ESPN2, but it's going to be remarkable. But let's start off with the breaking news. A guy by the name of Rob Gronkowski, yes, otherwise known as Gronk, otherwise known as probably the greatest tight end of all time, has decided to come back to the NFL. And it wasn't with the Patriots. It was with his best friend, Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let's repeat that. Rob Gronkowski is going to be a Tampa Bay Buccaneer with Tom Brady. We've been talking about it the last 3 weeks. Tom Brady going down to Tampa Bay. Going to be crazy. Not a Patriot. Was a Patriot for the last 2 decades. Had a ton of success. 6 rings in 20 years. I mean, the GOAT. The greatest of all time. No ifs, ands, or buts. When it comes to quarterbacks, Joe Montana, you're in second place. Had a tremendous career. But Tom Brady has proven it year in and year out that he's the GOAT. He already has a ton of weapons down there. Chris Godwin. Mike Evans. O.J. Howard. Oh, and now just going into a new system. Might as well throw in your security blanket with Rob Gronkowski. It's not even fair. I mean, listen, this is not something that just came up a couple of hours ago where, Tampa Bay's front office decided to call Rob Gronkowski and say, listen, I think you should come out of retirement. Tom Brady's no dummy. Same with Rob Gronkowski. They've been talking about this, for a couple of years. When Rob Gronkowski retired, he was 29 years old. 29 years old. Yes, he's had some back surgeries, some injuries, definitely takes a lot of toll on him for sure. But he was nowhere near done, and most likely probably towards the end of his prime. His last year, I think he had 650 plus receiving yards on about 45 to 50 targets and 3 touchdowns. Not Gronk-like, but I'm telling you, every team would want a piece of Gronkowski on their team, 100%. He's coming back. He's ready to go, and they've had talks like this. Brady knows what's going on. He's like, listen, when I get out of New England, you're the first person I'm calling. We're going to team up. This is not something that just happened 1 to 2 days ago, and they were talking about it. They planned this. They knew it was coming, and they're ready to shock the world. They're ready to show people that, listen, it wasn't Belichick that got us those rings. It was the people on the field making noise, and I'm telling you right now, if the season does start, when they say it's going to start, you do not want to face up against the Bucs. They are going to be a powerhouse. They're going to be a wrecking crew, and Tom Brady's on a mission. He has never been more hungry. He has so much motivation to prove everyone wrong, and I'm telling you, they're going to be in Tampa in February playing for the Super Bowl. No ifs, ands, or buts with that one. I'm telling you, Bucs are coming hot this season. It's going to be crazy and a lot of fun to watch. So That was breaking news. I think they got him for a 4th-round pick, so I mean, you're obviously taking that deal. It's going to be crazy with those two with Tampa Bay uniforms on. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a show. And when Drew Brees and Tom Brady match up 2 times now since they're in the same division, it's going to be must-watch TV. Get your wings, pizza, popcorn, beverage of choice, and sit back and relax because you're in for a show. So, breaking news, obviously unbelievable. But let's get into some more NFL news before we get into the draft. There's been a lot of teams that have been changing their jerseys up. One of them was the Los Angeles Chargers, obviously moving from San Diego to LA. They wanted to, just create a new vibe. They have about 6 different combinations now. Obviously, the powder blues, one of the best jerseys of all time. If you go online, you can see their new uniforms. They're awesome. As far as the other teams, I think they kind of downgraded. The Bucs changed their uniforms, the Patriots, the Browns, and the Falcons. If you go on ESPN.com or just type it in, I'm sure you can take a look online. But the Browns jerseys, I mean, come on. Talk about a team, man, that's just can never get it right. They got Baker Mayfield in the 1st round. They showed some strides. They won 7 or 8 games, I think, that year after going 0-16. Then next year, off the field issues, Odell Beckham being upset, Jarvis Landry being upset. Head coach didn't work out. And now they go to these nasty uniforms, a new coach. Who knows? The Browns are just absolute nonsense. But when I saw their jerseys, I was like, man, I thought it couldn't get any worse. But they are horrific looking. So they got to wear those once a week, which I feel bad for. Okay, let's talk a little bit NFL draft because obviously that's coming up in 48 hours. I think a lot of people are super excited. As I've been saying the last couple of weeks, it's definitely going to be a little bit different than past years. Everything's going to be online, virtual, due to the times that we're in right now. It looks like they did like a mock draft, just kind of like a pre-run to see how things were going to go. And with the first pick, the Cincinnati Bengals were on the clock for like 2.5 minutes extra because the internet went down or something. So don't be surprised if you see a lot of technical difficulties. We've never been in this before. We're all going through this together. When people get drafted, it's going to be Zoom calls, Skype calls, FaceTime. So it's going to be quite interesting. But still, if you are a football player, you wait for this moment. You want to see who your team's going to get so you can propel yourself to that next level and be a Super Bowl or playoff contender. So it's super exciting. That's going to be in 2 days. Starting at 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock, I believe, so right under 48 hours. I'm really excited for that. As I mentioned, the New York Giants have the 4th pick. The New York Jets have the 11th pick. It looks like it's pretty solidified that Joe Burrow, the quarterback out of LSU, is going to be the number 1 pick. The interesting thing that's been coming up the last week or so is that your second quarterback you think would be Tua Tagovailoa, and then Justin Herbert. But now it's kind of getting reversed. The roles are getting reversed, and they're saying Justin Herbert might be the second quarterback taken by Miami. I'm not buying it. Listen, guys, if Tua was healthy and didn't have these hip problems, we'd be having a debate whether who should go number 1, Joe Burrow or Tua. No offense to Justin Herbert. Great quarterback, has a lot of upside. I can see him making noise in the NFL. But if you want to compare the two, I mean, it's like varsity versus the freshman team. It's not even close. Tua is a once-in-a-generation-like talent. Best passer in this draft, including Joe Burrow. I don't think Miami is going to take the chance and let him just slide. They haven't had a quarterback in years, literally since Marino. So I think they really need to take Tua. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But at least you don't have to think about it for 10 to 15 years. What could have happened? So we'll see what happens there. Jets, 11th pick. I'm seeing an offensive lineman probably going to get taken, but I really want Jerry Jeudy or CeeDee Lamb. Jerry Jeudy from Alabama, CeeDee Lamb from Oklahoma. Super quick wide receivers, can step right into your team and be a number 1 right away. Sam Darnold needs that target. I've said it multiple times. This is his 3rd year in the league. His first 2 years, hasn't played a full season. And we really, really need him to have a number 1 guy. Robbie Anderson is not a number 1. I loved him. Deep threat. Cut the top off of a defense for sure. But he's in Carolina now. Quincy Enunwa, the jersey I'm wearing. absolute monster, has the body of a tight end, but runs like a wide receiver. He had a neck injury. You're not sure if he's going to come back. And then you got a slot guy like Jamison Crowder, who's great, but you can't rely on him to make noise. So we really need a wide receiver. I hope I come back next week and talk to you guys with some great news, but I'm not so confident. Stuart, great to see you on here. Go Ravens. Yeah, so some other breaking news, Stuart. I'm not sure if you're a gamer, if you have Xbox or PS4, but Lamar Jackson just announced that he's on the cover of Madden 2021. So congratulations to your Raven. 100% deserved. He was the MVP this year. I know a lot of people say there's a Madden curse. If you get on the cover of Madden the next year, you're not going to do so well. Well, breaking news. Patrick Mahomes was on it last year, won MVP before he got on it, and now he's a Super Bowl champ. So, Stuart, who knows? Maybe next year the Ravens are the last one standing. Lamar's got to prove it to me for one more year, though. I think he had a tremendous year, but I need to see him do a little bit more before I'm sold on him as an elite quarterback who I'm willing to take, to carry my team. But that's also some breaking news. Some more stuff going on. So, let's get into The Last Dance. The Chicago Bulls, second three-peat, 6 rings total. The last year, Michael Jordan decided that he wanted to have a camera crew. Just walk in with him and just be a part of the entire season. Practice, on the bus, in the locker room, wherever it is. He wanted them to see what it's like to go through that grind, 82 games, compete with one another, go through the ups and downs, and see what happens. And they had the first 2 parts on last Sunday at 9 o'clock, and, everyone was itching for it just because we haven't had any sports. It was unbelievable. Listen, I'm 29 years old, so the 97-98 team was really the first team I followed. It was... Wait, what's going on here? I froze... It's good on our end. Stay tuned. Sorry, guys, if I froze. Hopefully you can still hear me. But going back to what I was saying, The Last Dance, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman. The really cool thing about this was, like I said, I'm 29 years old. This is the first team I really followed. But to see what happened, those previous 5 titles to get to that point, it was really cool to see. The one thing that's crazy is that there's no arguing it. That Bulls team, the 72-10 team that won it all, is the best team of all time. If you want to say the 73-9 Warriors were the best team, go for it. But they weren't the last one standing, and I'm pretty sure that all these players suit up to win a championship. It's all about winning at the end of the day. If you have that Mamba mentality, that Michael Jordan mentality, that Kevin Garnett, Russell Westbrook mentality, you're playing to win. And it doesn't matter if you're going to, curse off your teammates or take that extra grind to get there. Like, you do whatever it takes. As Michael Jordan said, quote unquote, he wanted to win at any cost. So that's what I loved about the guy. Super competitive. But the really cool thing is that their trio, right? Pippen, Rodman, Jordan. Jordan, obviously, unbelievable career, UNC Chapel Hill. He didn't make his varsity team as a sophomore in high school. That's correct. As a sophomore in high school, Michael Jordan got cut. And now he's known as the GOAT. Scottie Pippen went to Central Arkansas. I don't know about you guys, but I haven't heard Central Arkansas in a Power 5 conference or making any noise in March Madness. And by the way, when he went to Central Arkansas, when he first started, he wasn't a player. He was an equipment manager and worked his tail off with the guys in practice and after practice to show the coach he has what it takes to be on the team. And the coach finally got him on there and decided just to make noise and absolutely go beast mode on everyone and be the 5th pick in the draft after a couple years. And then you got Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman went to, I'm going to go to my notes here, Southeastern Oklahoma. Again, I don't see them in March Madness. I don't see them going to the Final Four. Honestly, I've really never even heard of the school. And Dennis Rodman literally understood what his role was. He was not in the game to score points, dish the ball. He was there to do the dirty work. Rebound, go after loose balls, get dirty, get on the floor, and get the job done. And I think everyone just gets so caught up in the names, but those 3 players gelled so well, and I think that's what made the Bulls who they were and who we look at right now and who we see on TV. during this documentary. Let's go to the Celtics in '08. Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce. Ray Allen went to UConn. Great college for basketball. Paul Pierce, Kansas. Obviously, one of the most dominant college basketball programs. And then Kevin Garnett. We knew coming out of high school, he went straight from high school to the NBA, he was going to be a stud. So 3 guys we knew. Miami Heat, big 3. LeBron James. I don't even have to talk about it. We all know where he came from and who he is. Dwayne Wade went to Marquette. Great program. Actually took them to the Final Four, which was great for that program and really took them to that next level. And then you got a guy like Chris Bosh, a one and done, went to Georgia Tech, ACC school, plays Duke and Carolina, and was a top 5 pick in the draft the following year. What I'm saying is, a lot of these big 3 guys, they had that talent, and we knew about it early on. The Bulls team, besides Jordan, well, Jordan included, like I said, he didn't make the varsity team his sophomore year. These guys worked their tails off to get there, and it just shows that hard work pays off. All 3 of those guys were not supposed to be there, and where they came from to where they ended their careers is just phenomenal. A couple things we saw in the documentary. Obviously, we saw, Michael Jordan from when he was a kid all the way up to where he is now. They showed his first year at UNC. Wasn't the first guy. I think he had a talk with Roy Williams, who is now the head coach of UNC, and Michael Jordan said, "What do I have to do to be great?" And Roy Williams said, "You have to, be at practice every day, first one in, last one out, work your tail off." And Michael Jordan looked him straight in the eye and he said, "I'm going to show you, coach." And the next year, he was the National Player of the Year and hit the game-winning shot in the 1982 or 83 season for UNC. So it was unbelievable to see that. Obviously, you had other guys on the team like Steve Kerr, who was the head coach of the Warriors. But the one thing that stood out to me is that the general manager, Jeff Krause, listen, I'm giving the guy credit. He assembled that team, and it's the greatest team of all time. But the way he treated people was just disgusting. I'm going to just say it like that. It was absolutely disgusting. You got a coach like Phil Jackson, all right? Greatest coach of all time. I think he has 11 rings total when you talk about a coach, 6 with the Bulls, 5 with the Lakers. Best coach of all time in the NBA. You can talk about John Wooden, you can talk about Nick Saban, you can talk about Bill Belichick, but I'm talking just NBA. He's the best one of all time. I believe he told Phil Jackson that before the 6th title, that if you go 82-0, regardless, you're not going to be there next year. Excuse me, but number one, he got you 5 rings. So you wouldn't be in the position you were in, Jeff Krause, if it wasn't for Phil Jackson. I'm giving you credit. You definitely assembled the team, but it also takes those guys on the court to, get those W's. So what I'm going at here is he treated Scottie Pippen like absolute trash. Scottie Pippen he was the number 2 to Jordan, obviously, but probably the best number 2 of all time if you're talking about duos in the NBA. Okay? He signed a 7-year, $18 million contract. Now, if you're watching right now, 7 years, $18 million, anybody that's watching right now would sign the paper immediately and your hand would be shaking because you'd be so excited. But when you're in the NBA, that's just, honestly, that money is like there at all times. During that time, a 7-year deal was really long, and Scottie Pippen said, "You know what? I want to take care of my family. I want it long term." When he signed the contract, there were a lot of players like Larry Bird and Magic Johnson that were also making about $2 to $3 million. So at that particular time, it was a good deal money-wise. But within 3 to 4 years, payroll and the scale went up, and he was the 172nd highest paid player in the NBA. I know he signed a deal, but listen, if you are the GM and this guy is winning you championships, the least you could do is restructure his contract. The man deserves it. He was unreal. And he's the 172nd highest paid player. Oh, by the way, when Michael Jordan went to play baseball, he was the MVP of the league. I don't know if he actually was, but literally he was one of the best players in the league. Led the team in every category. Every category. He was number 1 in assists, number 1 in rebounding, number 1 in points. And Steve Kerr said he was the best defender in the league. I mean, he was top class. The only thing he did wrong was he didn't get surgery before the 97-98 season on his foot, and he had to miss the first couple of months. But listen, during that time, I don't feel that bad for him. I probably would have done the same thing. I'm already hurt. Let me enjoy my summer. My GM's not paying me. And sometimes you got to be selfish. And I don't blame him on that one. But what I'm getting at is the first two parts of the documentary, talked about Jordan and, his unbelievable first year as a rookie. But it really also showed a lot of people that it wasn't just Jordan. Scottie Pippen needs to be mentioned when you talk about the Bulls and those 2 3-peats. And Jordan said it himself. He wouldn't be able to do it without Scottie. When you talk about Jordan, you talk about Pippen. So for all those young cats out there, you know who Scottie is now. He's the top 50 greatest players of all time. So pretty crazy. Yeah, Timmy and David Stewart, of course. They are a great duo for sure. Greg Popovich, now that I'm thinking about it, he'd probably be the second coach I put behind Phil Jackson. They were obviously a duo, and then you had Timmy, Manu, and who am I forgetting there? Timmy, Manu, and Tony Parker. So that's another trio for sure. But yeah, guys, it was a great documentary. The third part of it is going to be Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman, he's a character. I have no other way to describe him. You'll see him grinding on the court. Probably the greatest rebounder of all time, Hall of Famer. I mean, it could be argued, but I would say he's the greatest rebounder of all time. He's different. You're going to see him every game with a different color hair, different color do. He wasn't the one you should probably follow off the court. He was out late, doing things he probably shouldn't have done, but teammates said when it came down to it and he was playing, he was ready to lock and load and give it to them and be an absolute dog on the court. And I mean that with all respect. He was unbelievable. So the next part is going to be about Dennis Rodman and how the personalities mix together because all three of those are a lot different. I'm really looking forward to that. Let me know if you guys have any questions about the documentary, if you missed it. If you want to talk NFL draft, I am open to talking about anything. So if you guys have anything you want to talk about, please let me know. Yeah, Stuart, Wilt and Jerry West, definitely before my time. That's a great duo, but I'm going to argue that with you, and I'm going to say Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Magic Johnson beat Wilt and Jerry West. I wasn't alive for that one either, but I study the game, and that could go up with Jordan and Pippen. I mean, that duo is crazy. I want to go back to the documentary. Something about Jordan that I forgot completely. His rookie season, he averaged 28 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds. Are you kidding me? That's absurd. He went to the playoffs and played the Celtics. Could be one of the greatest starting fives of all time. Dennis Johnson. You had McHale. You had Walton. You had Parrish. Oh, and by the way, a guy by the name of Larry Bird who was a 3-time MVP. Jordan went into TD Garden, dropped 49. They lost. Next day, played golf with Danny Ainge and said, Danny, tell Dennis Johnson I have something coming for him. Next game, dropped 63. Are you kidding me? Jordan is the GOAT. If anyone says LeBron's the GOAT, I don't know what you're taking, what you're on. You got to just get some sleep and recheck yourself, all right? Jordan's the GOAT, no ifs, ands, or buts. I love LeBron. He's going to be number 2. He's on Mount Rushmore, top 4. But Jordan is Jordan, and it's just a different category. When I saw that, and it wasn't 3-pointers, it was mid-range games. Some of the shots he put up were just insane. Shot over 50%, and you knew when it was third and fourth quarter, he was just going to turn it on and just go on a different level that no one else can compete with. NFL draft, Lions or Giants trade. Yeah, I'm seeing number 3 and number 4. I think Detroit has 3, Giants have 4. I think the Giants want to trade up. Gettleman is not known for that. They don't. I think the problem is the Giants don't want to trade up too high. They still want to get one of those offensive linemen that can really help them and protect their future and everything they're going to invest in money-wise, which is Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley. Both of them will be up for hefty contracts in the next few years. Now, I don't know. Some people are saying Isaiah Simmons from Clemson for Giants. Freak athlete, linebacker. But I kind of agree with Mel Kiper, Todd McShay, and all the people on NFL Live. Those are your two promising guys in Daniel Jones and Barkley, and you have to protect them. Let me know, guys, what else do you got going on here? A couple other things with the NFL draft. Tua did send an hour workout to all the NFL teams. That may change. I think regardless, if he does go to the Dolphins, he's going to have to sit out a year. Let Ryan Fitzpatrick get one more year. I can talk about Ryan Fitzpatrick for days. I can't believe he's still in the NFL. But let him just play one more year. Let Tua sit back, learn the playbook, learn from a veteran who honestly is a solid vet in Fitzpatrick. He's been around the league, a lot of teams, has seen a lot. Let him learn, and then let him get his second year and show America what he's all about. I think that's something that should be done regardless. But apparently the 1 hour workout, there was really no hesitation. His coach was Trent Dilfer. And I don't know how many of you guys watch SportsCenter religiously, but Trent Dilfer was an ESPN NFL analyst. He a Super Bowl champ, wasn't the greatest quarterback, but as far as an analyst, I mean, he knew his stuff. If he was saying something, I believed him 100%. And he's saying that Tua is just something you don't see every day. So going back to what I was saying earlier, I think the Dolphins take Tua. I know they're saying Herbert, but I'm not going to get caught up in that nonsense. I think they're just trying to tell people that. And then just come up, blindsided and take Tua. I think that's really what's going to occur. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think they're going to win more than 10 games next year. My buddy was saying he wanted to make a bet. 10 or under he wins, over 10 I win. I took the over 10. I think Tom Brady is just going to absolutely destroy the NFL next year. He is just itching to get back on that field and prove everyone. Also, pretty crazy, 18 out of 20 years, his time in the NFL, he's won 10 or more games 18 times. I mean, that's nuts. That's absolutely unheard of. And I think the first one of the two times he didn't get it was his first year. So he's just an unbelievable talent. He actually got caught in Tampa at a park working out, and they told him he had to leave. So he's trying to put his work in, but I'm pretty sure he has a big enough backyard where he can get some throws in and toss it around with his son. I don't think he needs a park to go to. I'm sure he'll be fine. He's also renting out Derek Jeter's old mansion in Florida, is what I heard, which is pretty cool. That's a house with a lot of talent. A lot of talent in Derek Jeter and Tom Brady. All right, guys, I got a few more minutes, so if anybody has any questions, please let me know. I'm more than happy to address them. When it comes to the NBA and NCAA, there's not too much news that I could bring to you right now. Adam Silver said, every option's open. They really do want to play the end of the season and get an NBA champion, but they're not going to do anything that's going to put anybody's health in jeopardy. So let's hope we can keep our fingers crossed. There's this really cool thing that they're doing. It's an all-in challenge. A lot of people are... athletes are giving, people free tickets, free plane rides to games, courtside, giving out jerseys. It's all with COVID-19 and giving back to the community, which is really cool. But listen, we're definitely experiencing some difficult times right now. So I love doing this with you guys and getting on live and talking about, the trending sport topics. We have a great couple of weeks, considering that this documentary is every Sunday, so enjoy that. It's going to go all the way until May 17th. We have the NFL draft this weekend, so, I think ESPN is doing a tremendous job every single day, keeping us, in the loop with sports. So without them, I honestly have no idea what I would be doing during these last 5 weeks. So let's hope that... the draft works out well. There's not too many technical issues. Good luck to all of your teams. Stuart, I wish the Ravens nothing but the best. I know you're a Texas Longhorn fan and a Spurs fan, so I wish you all the best with your teams. I'm hoping my Jets get the guy they need, hopefully a wide receiver. To the Giant fans, good luck as well. Wishing you all the best. Hope everyone is safe and healthy. Please... jot down some notes, comment next week if you want to talk about anything. I'm not sure if this is the stuff you want to talk about, but these are the things that were trending this week in sports. And we will talk next week, 8 o'clock, and I'll be ready to go. So, guys, stay safe. Have a great night. And until next time, peace and love.